Let's talk about the body systems. Circulatory system, first of all, facilitates the movement of blood and nutrients throughout the body, of course. Includes the heart, the abdominal vessels, head and neck vessels, lower limb vessels, and the thoracic circulation. And, of course, the upper limb vessels as well. So you can basically just ask simply, is your circulatory system happy? Okay? And, of course, if you're using the body code, it will take you to the circulatory system if there's some kind of an issue. And then you can find and remove any underlying causes. And then you just ask, is your circulatory system happy? So digestive system, of course, is made up of organs that break down food into protein, vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, and fats. Includes the colon, esophagus, gallbladder, ileocecal valve, liver, pancreas, small intestine, stomach, sphincters, and the tongue. And so again, same way, you can ask, is that system happy? And if it's not, then you will want to probably break it down further. Okay? Now you can work on a whole system. If you ask, for example, is the digestive system happy? And you get a no answer, you can ask what the underlying reasons are. The subconscious might take you into one of the organs that makes up the digestive system, or it may just take you to the emotion chart, or maybe you'll find some other energetic imbalance, or maybe a pathogen or something else, and that's okay. You find and remove any underlying causes and then find out if it's happy. Endocrine system is a series of glands that secrete hormones into the bloodstream. And these hormones regulate all sorts of functions in the body, including metabolism, growth, and development, tissue function, sleep, and mood, and so on. Including the hypothalamus, the pineal, pituitary, adrenals, testicles, ovaries, thyroid, pancreas, parathyroid glands, and kidneys. Actually, I was talking with, can I share what you told me, Gwen? Yeah, I was talking with Gwen, and she was telling me just this morning that she's had a hard time sleeping for how long?
Like forever.
She checked her pineal gland to see if it was happy, because of course the pineal gland secretes melatonin, which helps you to sleep, and it wasn't. So she figured out what it was. And then, how'd you sleep last night?
Really nice. First time in probably years.
That's kind of cool. All right. So again, same way, finding imbalances, ask if they're happy. Now, of course, the immune system is just various parts of the body that fight infection, keep the body healthy. Liver, spleen, appendix, bone marrow, the Peyer's patches, which are little lymphatic tissue patches on the small intestine, lymph nodes, tonsils, adenoids, and the thymus gland. And again, ask if it's happy, and if it's not, find out why. Fix the underlying causes. Now, the integumentary system, okay, includes the hair, nails, and skin. Now, if you're working on an animal, okay, it'll also include, of course, the hooves, maybe if it's a horse, claws of a dog or a cat, and also fur, all right? There are 3 layers. The hypodermis is the deepest layer of skin, attaches to the bone or muscle, and it houses the fat deposits. And then the dermis is the middle layer, contains connective tissue and blood, and then, of course, the epidermis is the outermost layer that is what we're all seeing when we look around the room, okay? You can find out if your skin is happy. By the way, is it possible, do you think, to have, for example, a trapped emotion that's actually in your skin? Yeah, I've seen that before. Anybody else seen that? Yeah, a few of you have. So that can happen. Kind of interesting. So again, find and remove any underlying causes. The lymphatic system is, of course, the defense system of the body, filters out disease-causing organisms, produces white blood cells, and generates disease-fighting antibodies. Okay? And it includes the adenoids, tonsils, appendix, bone marrow, lymph nodes, Peyer's patches, spleen, and thymus. So a lot of the same organs and things as the immune system. So again, ask if it's happy. If it's not, find out why. Now, the muscular system contains all the skeletal muscles that expand and contract to move the body. And you can identify the specific muscle or muscle group that's imbalanced and ask if it's happy, and if it's not, find out why. Okay? Nervous system, body's communication system, divided into the central nervous system, which consists of the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which is divided up and into, well, we'll go to the next slide here, but it connects the brain to the limbs and the organs. And actually, in your book, and in the mind maps, it's divided up into, I'm sure we'll get into that. I'll show you that in a few minutes here, actually. Actually, maybe I'll show you that right now. Let's take a look at this. Okay, let's see here. All right, if we go to circuits and systems, here's all the systems in the mind map. Okay, so let's see here. If we go to the nervous system, okay. See the central nervous system here in the mind map. We divide it up into the brain, the spinal cord, and the eyes. Now, of course, the spinal cord is what connects the brain to all the parts of the body. And it's about as big around as your little finger, okay? But it's, if you look at it on a microscope, looks like the transatlantic cable. You know, the cable that they laid between America and Europe back in the early days, like around the time of the Titanic, or maybe before, I guess, so they could make phone calls. That cable is really big, and it's got thousands and thousands of little wires that carry phone calls. And that's what your spinal cord, of course, is like. The eyes are actually considered to be kind of a specialized nervous system organ. So that's where these are, okay? And then the brain is also broken up into some different parts. Brain stem, the hypothalamus, and you can click on all of these and it'll take you a little bit deeper, okay? The brain stem's broken down. Yeah, and then let's see here. And these glands, of course, are on the glands page as well. The cerebrum is broken down into temporal lobes, occipital, frontal, parietal. Natalie is the one that did all the work. I mean, I helped her. I actually did these pictures. We kind of shared things, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, you'll be able to. Well, we've got a whole nother level now of things you can look into. Now, by the way, look at the nervous system here. The peripheral nervous system is actually divided up. We divide it up into two different parts, really. The somatic nervous system, okay, which is responsible for carrying information to and from the brain to the muscles and organs and so on. But then we also have the autonomic nervous system. Now my screen's a little bit small right now, and I can see this just fine on mine, and you should have this picture in your mind maps anyway. But here's an interesting thing, okay, about the nervous system. I want to elaborate on this just for a minute here, because this is something that we sometimes see. It's hard to see on this screen, but basically the autonomic nervous system, you can think of, just replace the word autonomic with automatic. This is the part of your nervous system that is kind of running all those functions of the body. Digesting your food, okay, controlling your immune responses, dilating your pupils or not, all of those kinds of things. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is the part of the nervous system that comes into play when you go into fight or flight mode, okay? And the parasympathetic nervous system is the side that's digesting your food. It's the side that really comes into play when you're at rest, okay? Now, the problem is when we are under stress, what can happen is that sympathetic nervous system can kind of get stuck sometimes, and it can become sort of hyperactive, and you might get stuck in fight or flight mode. And sometimes people, especially people who suffer from anxiety, can have an imbalance going on with the nervous system, with this autonomic or automatic part of their nervous system. And so there are underlying causes for that, do you think? What do you think? Raise your hand if you're here. Wow, most of you are here. Do any of you suffer from anxiety? That's kind of been a difficult thing for you. And you do, and you do, and you do. You know, do you want to come up for a second right here? Yeah. Yes, you're the really anxious person. Just kidding. Don't be anxious about that.
A little anxious.
You're a little anxious. I don't blame you. Yeah, well, that's what we're looking for. You're just the person I want to see.